we've done several baji recipes, and I think I may have done Dasheen bush baji already a couple times, but this one is, you're gonna see a slight difference. I saw it in the grocery store and I'm like, where this thing's gotta come home because of the decent price. If you follow me on TikTok, you would have seen that TikTok. It's very rare we get, well, first of all, relatively cheap and looking in good condition. It was in a plastic bag, so there were a few leaves which were not too good, but for the most, and Dasheen leaves, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I have here. It's all been washed and trimmed and shredded into sort of ribbons, like 1/2 centimeter ribbons. You can see it here. What I also did was I saved some of the stems, but I removed the outer casing off it. If you would like to see a video on how to prepare this, leave me a comment down below. 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the pan there. And what makes this version of Dasheen bush baji different is I'm starting off with salted cod, and that's just less than 1/4 pound, just to flavor the dish with that salted cod. It's been soaking in boiling water. Then I rinsed it, and it's boneless. All the bones have been removed, and I just cut it up into small pieces. My heat is on medium low, and all this is going to do is to give it some lovely flavor. And we love salted cod, you know. If you don't have salted cod, whatever salted fish you have, and I see, even though I said I removed all the bones, there is a bone. Well, I don't think they're sneaky in there. Now, the other sort of combination I want to add in there is a combination of garlic and onion. I also have a Scotch bonnet pepper as well as 2 pimento peppers. Now, with the Scotch bonnet pepper, I'm going to get a lot of heat from it. If you don't want the heat, the sort of seeds area here, and you really don't want to touch it, wear gloves. Wash your hand with soap and water after you touch your piggy or your eyes, your lips, anywhere it's going to burn, right? You can remove this part here, or you know what, if you don't like heat, you don't like heat. Uncle Chris is not trying to force all your hand into anything that you all don't like. And the pimento peppers are these ones, the yellow and the green that you're seeing there. There's also an orange one, and you can leave the seeds in that one. That's for my freezer over the over the summer months. I plant it in my garden, and because they're very hard to source here in Canada. When you can source it, maybe 5 peppers, you're paying close to $5. So I'm trying to break the bank just to get some pimento peppers. So I plant it in the summer, during the summer months, and you wash them, you air dry them, and then you freeze it. So all you got to do is take 1, 2, 3, how many you want out when you're ready to use it. I'm just going to turn my heat down to low because I want that to sort of sweat and pull out all those flavors. And as that happens, I'm going to hit that with some black pepper. A couple things here I must mention. If you can't source the Scotch bonnet and you want to use habanero, any spicy pepper, providing you like spicy or heat, you can use, and in the amounts that you can tolerate. The second thing is, with that salted cod, even though I soaked it in boiling water, it may have remnants of salt, so we're going to go kind of light on the salt to start with, and later on near the end of the dish. And it is not a pretty dish. This is going to cook down, it's going to become a mush. But man, it's one of them comforting things from, whether it's with roti or rice or dal and rice or whatever it is. It's real comforting. It won't look pretty, but I'm telling you, things out. I'm just going to let that go for about 4 minutes, and turn my heat back a slight bit, and let that sort of sweat. And at this point, we're going to start adding the Dasheen bush leaves, washed and trimmed and everything else. It will look like quite a bit to start with, but that's going to sort of wilt down, so don't fret too much. It will wilt down. What I will do is I'll put a lid on it just to create some steam and some more heat and everything else, and it will start wilting down. And I did cut, I don't know if you guys noticed, it's about 3/4 to 1 inch pieces. I know I fill between centimeters and inches, because while I live in Canada and it is the metric system, for some reason we still use quite a bit of times the old inches and feet and imperial thing to help it along. Because here's the thing, I'm not sure what you all experience with Dasheen bush or taro leaves, whatever you want to call it. I'm cooking it in Canada. For some reason, it's imported. We know it's imported from the Caribbean, maybe Central America. I'm not sure where else. I just added some water in there. That's about 1 cup of water. It takes incredibly long to cook. Many times it doesn't even get soft and mushy like how we know it if you were growing up in the Caribbean. Half an hour and it's done. This is going to take more than half an hour. Yeah, what I'm going to do is add the pieces on top, and then I'll continue adding the leaves, kind of layer it and kind of thing. We still got some. I've got 2 tablespoons of coconut cream, and of course we need salt as well too. The rubbish truck outside, if all they hear that beeping noise there, we ain't no fancy studio, it's in Uncle Chris's kitchen, so you will hear all kind of commotion from time to time. Time for some salt. Yeah, I remember later on we can adjust that salt as well, and I'm just going to tuck things down. You notice how it's starting to already go down. Yeah, notice how it's wilting down already. That is progress. What I will do also is at this point I will add my coconut cream in there, and it's been in the fridge, that's why it's solid like that. If you don't have coconut cream and you want to use the actual milk instead of that water that I added, you can add 1 to 2 cups of that coconut milk. Just make sure you cook it out. It's been about 5 minutes since we started, well, since we added the green parts. And you can see what's happening here. I'm going to add a bit more water because, like I said, I want this to really cook down. And there's the garlic and everything else in here. And I put the garlic relatively chunky because I want pieces of that garlic later on when I'm eating. Yeah. What I'm going to do is put another cup of water in here, and I'm going to keep the lid on it because I know, experience working with this baji from Canada, well, the one we get here in Canada, it takes forever to cook. So what I'm going to do is put some more water, put the lid back on, turn it down to a simmer and let it go. Here we are, 2.5 hours, close to 2 hours and 45 minutes. I've added in total about 8 cups of water. If I was cooking this directly in the Caribbean, so let's say I went in the backyard or I went to the market and I purchased it, this would have been done in about 35 minutes or so. What we need to do is, and I'm going to continue because this is going to be my dinner tonight. I have some hot roti waiting, roti in the freezer that I'm going to heat up. I'm going to continue it, and this is just, if you follow me on TikTok, you'll have read the comments after I posted. Let me just shift the camera. After I posted this, and I can show you tighter what's going on there. After I posted that I found the Dasheen bush at the no frills, everybody's like, Chris, it won't cook, it's gonna take forever. And I may have said it already in the video, I can't remember because it's been so long now cooking here. I'm gonna go with the lid open right away for the rest of the duration of it. But I know it doesn't cook. I don't know what it is, and whether it's this or Sautéing, some people call it kataha, the same thing happens when it's imported to Canada. I don't know if it has something to do, and maybe the scientists out there can tell me, maybe they know better. By the plane going 30,000 feet in the air, the altitude changes. I don't know what it does, but it does not cook. It doesn't get mushy, it doesn't get soft. Well, it's soft, but it doesn't melt the way it's supposed to melt. So if you are in the Caribbean and you're doing this, 35 minutes later, it would be done. It would be a nice, smooth sort of texture. All you need to do is burn off all the liquid and you'll be fine. So you can stop at that point, taste it for salt, and you're good. But for us, 2.5, almost 3 hours later, and here we are still. 3 hours and 20 minutes later, and here we are. The whole idea is to burn off all that liquid, so there's still remnants of liquid in there, because I find personally it intensifies the flavor of the Dasheen bush. What I want to mention is you can see the stems. Yeah, man, they're still standing there. So just be warned if you are in Canada, and you may run into the same problem. And I did peel. Wow, my throat going bad, but it's been a long day. 3 hours plus recipe, like I cook an oxtail or something, boy. But anyhow, I did peel the outer skin of the stem. So I don't understand why it's not breaking down. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com, a lovely meat-free dish here. We did have that salted cod in there, but totally optional if you want to make it vegan. You don't have to do that, but it adds a nice flavor. Remember to taste it for salt. And again, if you are based in the Caribbean and you're getting this fresh from your backyard, or the fella down the road who's selling it, or wherever, the market, this will cook in less than 40 minutes. But for us, 3 hours plus, and here we are still. Anyhow, I'm tired.